Good day, class. This is your teacher, Leah, and today we will be discussing our lesson. But before we start, let's have our stretching first, just so you can feel a little bit of energy. Like you have to feel that you are alive. Okay, now let's start our stretching. You stretch your body. This, you have to follow me just so you can exercise a little bit. Now you have to stretch your body. Okay, after that, since you're done with our little stretching, we will be doing our icebreaker. Okay, let's have our icebreaker. So we have the provided picture below, and of course, you are to guess it. No, you are to guess what is the picture is all about. So, as you can see, I'm going to give you 1 minute for that for you to guess it. Okay. So I'll be waiting for you to guess it because I know you have the idea of our topic for today. Just so you can enjoy, you have to think of something that what could be. Though it's totally obvious, but still it is a fun part to know what's our topic for today. So are you done? Okay, very good. So okay, I think you've guessed it already. It is all about under unpacking the self, its political self. So before we dig in with our discussion, let's define the unpacking the self first as well as the political self. So unpacking the self is all about examining the different facets or aspects of one's identity and how they interconnect with each other. Also, unpacking the self is the ability to have an insight into one's behavior, attitudes, or weaknesses, and the ability to know and say what one is good at or needs improvement in. So it is that like unpacking the self. It is like self discovery, no? Unpacking what's within you. Okay, now let's define the political self. But before that, we are to break down this too. Let's define the politics as well as the self. Okay, politics or politica from ancient Greek, that means affairs of the cities, is about making agreements between people so that they can live together in groups such as tribes, cities, or countries. It is the activities that with the governance of a country or the other area, especially the debate or conflict among individuals or practices having or hoping to achieve power. No, that is the politics. That's how you define politics. It involves the government. It talks about the government. It talks about the power to rule over people. And now let's have the definition of self. So self is the distinct individuality or identity of a person or thing. So like for me, this is me. This is myself. And this is how I behave. I behave in a way that it is acceptable to the society. So that's it. Let's move on to our let's move on to our objectives. So now the objectives are already provided and you can already see it and read it. And now the objectives, no, the target for our lesson today, wherein we are to explore, engage, understand, empower, and also to promote a deeper understanding and respect towards political understanding and diversity within the society. So now, let's move on to the origin of political self. No? From the word origin, what can you like? What pops up in your mind? No? What comes into your mind when you hear the word origin? No? From the word origin, the start, the beginning, the root. No? Yes. So there are origins of political self. So we have the five origin of political self. We have the family, we have the school, we have the church, we have the peers, and also the mass media. So in this five, let's discuss the family first. So in the family, there's a group of people, right? Okay, it includes a mother, a father, and the children. So let's see the father as the head of the family, and the mother as the light or guide of the family, and the children are the people that are need or that needs to be taken care of by the parents or by the father and the mother. So that's how you see it. So when you say it, it still looks like the hierarchy. You know, there are people there are people who are meant to lead. There are people that are positioned to lead, to take good care of their people. No, in the family, it is the father that's the head of the family, and the mother as the light of the family. So as Filipino, we consider our mother as the ilo ng tahanan and the father as haligi ng tahanan. Okay, now let's move on to the schools. Schools still do the same. The hierarchy, we have the teacher and the children. We have the students. Specific, we have the students and the teacher. The teacher are the ones that are the head. No? They are the ones to make a rule, to do something in order to mold their children or to mold their students into becoming better netizens or individuals. So now let's move on to church. That still do the same, that still works the same. You see it as the priest and the people. You know, the priests are the ones to talk. They are the ones to talk, and then the people are to listen and to follow what is the what is being um, what is the speech of the priest. Now what's the principle. Now it involves religious activities, it involves religious acts. And then we have the peers. So the peers are the ones to influence us with the way we behave. No, you're being influenced with the way we think and with the way we behave. That is why people will say that, tell me who your friends are and I will tell you who you are. And do you believe it? Like, tell me who your friends are and I will tell you who you are. It is because they believe, people believe, the society believes that who you are with are the same with how you behave and how you think. Because what you let what you let to be surrounded or what are you surrounded with will totally influence you. Of course it is, and it is true. Now let's move on to mass media. So mass media talks about the technology that reaches the mass audience. So meaning what the informations, the technology, like for example, from the word technology, we have the gadgets. No, just like the Facebook, we are using Facebook through cell phones, the technology, and um, we are being handed with lots of informations with it, whether it's fake or not. And you, as a better or responsible citizen, you are to spot what is the truth behind those informations that are being fed by the mass media. So now we are done with our origin of political self. Let's move on to the Filipino identity. A tapes tree of values, traits, community, and institutional values. So now we will be talking about the toxic traits of a Filipino. We have the bahala na attitude. So no, we are always neglecting something. We are always trying to say that no, it's okay. It's gonna be okay like that. It's bahala na. I'm gonna do this, even though we all know that it's wrong. You know, and also we have the crab mentality. We always try to bring down other people just because you are in the low, you are behind doesn't mean you have to pull people towards you just so they cannot go on top. It's not good. That's crab mentality. Okay? And that is why we have to foster the positive traits of a Filipino and not focus the negative one, because the negative one is um, totally damaging or destroying other people or fellow Filipinos. Now, let's move on to the community influence, wherein it fosters a sense of belonging and shared responsibility. And still, the example for this one is Bayanihan, community influence. You are being influenced to the community, and you are doing something to make your community a better, to make your community better. Okay, and now let's have the institutional factors. Institutional factors are the ones that shape Filipino identity. It is all about the policies, practices, and characteristics of an institution that can influence the behavior, process, and also the outcomes. Now it's already understandable. So let's move on to the cultural roots. So cultural roots are the shared knowledge, values, and tradition or cult of a society, or the ethnic or cultural origins of a person's ancestor. That is why it affects the individual's social, economic, and political status. No, so the roots, cultural roots. So from the word culture and from the word roots. So it still serves as the origin. No? Cultural roots. It talks about more on culture. So the group of people that where you belong, and that still enhances or still fosters the cultures of your ancestors. So that's the cultural roots. And also we have the consciousness. No, it is very understandable from the word conscious. No? It is a state of being aware of one's internal and external existence. So that's the consciousness. You are aware that you are a Filipino, and you are aware that as a Filipino, you are to be proud of who you are, that you have the blood of being a Filipino, and that you are a competent individual wherever you are. Okay. You have to embrace the thought that you are a Filipino. You are to love where you came from, because I believe in the saying that you will never know where your destination is or where you truly belong unless you know where you came from. Okay, now let's move on to the social political dimension. So it is defined as a combination of political and social aspects of a society, including mental, including governmental dimensions and interpersonal dynamics. It involves laws and practices, as well as regulations, beliefs, conflicts, political conflicts, and security, poverty, national wealth, as well as the social integration. Also, I forgot, also the income inequality. So it addresses, no? It addresses the status, no? The social and the political dimensions. So now let's move on to the democratic citizenship. So we have citizen participation. So citizen participation talks about an active citizens that are vital to a functioning democratic government. So when you say participation, you are aware of what's happening. You are actively engaging with the activities that involves the government or the politics. You are aware, and you are to know what you are to do, what you need to address in order for you to contribute something to the community as an active citizen. So now let's move on to the civic responsibilities. Now, being a responsible citizen. It talks about being a responsible citizen encompasses upholding laws, respecting rights, and contributing to the common good. So, as a responsible citizen, you are fully aware of what you are to do and how you behave in a society that behave in a way that is acceptable in the society. So now we are also to talk about democratic values. So democratic values, you have the core values, the freedom of speech, the equality, and the rules of law. Democratic values. From the word democratic, that involves freedom, and the values that are the basic and fundamental guides or motivate attitudes or actions. No? Oh, so lastly, we will be talking about two types of political involvements. We have the political engagement and um, political participation. So political engagement is defined as, or could be, the campaigns, the rallies, political rallies, or street demonstrations or activities relating to the politics or the government. No, it is you being engaging with what to do, or being engaging with the way that you know what is currently happening in the government of the country. And lastly, we will be talking about political participation. So political participation, it is a voluntary actions carried out by the general public to influence public policies. So it is already understandable that it talks about you being uh, you participating the activities in political, in terms of politics. Okay, and that is my part for this discussion, and I am hoping that you've understand my topic, as well as I hope that you've learned something from me, and that would be all. Thank you.